this week's episode of Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. The various members of Tekkadan reminisce about life, love, and family. And Akihiro and Takaki get caught in a dangerous mobile suit battle. This episode right here is not exactly what I was expecting, especially because the preview for this episode made it seem like it was going to be very heavy on the mobile suit action. While there is some mobile suit action, it pretty much only happens for the last minute of the episode. The rest of the episode is entirely devoted to fleshing out the various members of Tekkadan and how they're interacting with Teiwaz. And we also have this other brand new character who's been popping up a few times, and her name is Marybit Stapleton. Another ridiculous name for the Gundam franchise, but she's going to basically be the overseer for Teiwaz, looking over what Tekkadan is doing and getting underneath Orga Itsuka's skin. There's obviously a little bit of sexual tension between these two characters, and of course Orga is incredibly embarrassed over the fact that this is the girl he ran into when he was blackout drunk and puking all over the place. There's development from a number of different characters this week. Some of the scenes are small, some of them are more impactful. I really like the scene between Norba and Eugene. They're both very funny characters. I especially love how they're constantly bickering over what it means to truly love a woman. Norba loves the boobs, and Eugene loves the love. We also get a nice scene between Biscuit and Takaki. They have a lot in common because they're both working with CGS so that they can put their younger sisters into school, with Takaki's young sister actually being in an orphanage. His sister looks suspiciously like him, which makes him seem all the more effeminate. One of the funnier scenes from this week's episode was between Atra and Kudelia, where basically they're discussing what their family life is like, and this leads to the backstory of Atra, where we learn apparently when she was much younger, she used to work at this hostess club, and basically she was just treated like crap by everyone. She was freaking Cinderella, basically, so she decided to escape, and she became an orphan on the streets, until eventually she ran into Mikazuki for the very first time, and Mikazuki introduced her to this store owner who gave her a job and basically took her in, and that's how she started working with CGS and the other groups. Kudelia feels awful for Atra and even mentions that her family is very dismissive of her and doesn't even really care. Hell, her father even tried to kill her one time. But Atra reassures her that no, family loves you no matter what, and then she starts to think, well, if we're all a family now, that makes us like the Turbans. That means that she could be a part of her very own harem with Kudelia. Probably one of the weirdest moments, and it definitely makes you realize that Atra is kind of a freak. An adorable freak, but a freak nonetheless. The rest of the episode is devoted to the character of Akihiro, otherwise known as Space Guts. We finally get to learn a little bit more about him. Apparently, he had a younger brother by the name of Masahiro, and he and his family were attacked by this group of pirates who just killed everybody on the ship, left the orphans, and sold them as slaves. This is how he became human debris, as he calls it. Now, his brother's probably alive, and we're probably going to run into him eventually. He claims that he's the age of Takaki, which means he's probably pretty young, but I have a feeling that they mentioned all these space pirates. Maybe he joined up with them, maybe he's a member of Galahorn. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's a nice twist. At the end of the episode, Akihiro and Takaki actually go outside the ship to go on patrol, where they're suddenly attacked by these three massive mobile suits. Finally, we get some mobile suit action. It's very short-lived, but it's awesome. These suits look really cool, and they just completely decimate the customized Greys, ripping its armor to pieces and just attacking it from all angles. It's a great sequence, and I especially love how at the very end of the episode, right as it looks like it's about to destroy Akihiro, you get to hear the ending song come in, Orphans Namida, which is such an amazing ending, by the way, and that's just the perfect signal for Mikazuki and the Gundam to arrive to save the day, ending this week's episode on one hell of a cliffhanger. So what's the rundown? On this week's episode of Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, another character development episode. I didn't expect it. Originally, I thought that it was going to be like character development, action, but last couple episodes has been world building, character development, and honestly, I like it. The only thing is, these characters are going to die. Every single character that starts to talk about their backstory or their family just immediately puts their faces in the crosshairs. That's the way it's always been in a Gundam anime series. I don't know if Akihiro or Takaki was going to be killed in this episode, but I was almost fully convinced that this was going to be the end of Akihiro, which would have sucked and it would have just come out of nowhere. But just the fact that we're getting to know all of these characters, just something bad's gonna happen, guys. It's gonna be bad. The best thing about this episode is that it allows you to appreciate these characters and not just see them as just random people in the background. That's something that can happen in a lot of different anime series, and it does happen in Gundam all of the time. They're really doing a good job of focusing on each character one at a time, not just focusing on the main guy. It really gives you just this better sense that this is a real crew. It feels a lot more organic that way. Now, like I said, I wanted there to be a little bit more action. The preview made it seem like this was just going to be like a full-on badass episode, but it's really just the last minute of the episode. But it does look really good. I especially like the design of those big, bulky mobile suits, which are slightly reminiscent of Zaku's because of the weird single eye, which is constantly moving around. You know, there's a lot of like things it's definitely derived from, but I don't think we've seen this mobile suit in the series quite yet. But I like the design of it. It's cool. Then they basically just wiped the floor with Akihiro, which is a shame. But he's also got Takaki with him as well, so he has to look out for him. And he's one of those little mechs, so he's pretty much screwed if he gets attacked by any of those big mobile suits. But still, I can't wait to see where they're going to pick up from here. I also like this stuff with that new character of Marybit Stapleton. I wonder how she's going to change the dynamic of the show. If she's just there to annoy Orga or be like a possible love interest, I'm not quite sure. We're just going to have to wait and see, but this is still a good character development episode. Not the one I wanted, but still a pretty good one right here. The series does hinge on its characters, and I think it's doing a great job with them. It's, if anything, better than Reikongista NG. The story is a lot easier to follow, and the characters are just a lot more interesting. So, I'm going to give this episode right here a 4 out of 5. Check it out, Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphan fans. You might see something you like. But if you did watch this week's episode, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below. Do you have a favorite character from the Tekkanon or Teiwa's crew? What did you think of that mobile suit battle at the end? Do you think that Akihiro and Takaki are going to be killed, or any of the other characters' heads are on the chopping block? And what do you want to see from the rest of Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans? Please tell me in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!